Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Michael, from Bagel Bytes. So, this will be an actual 5 minutes, not 20 minutes. This is the YouTube trailer for tonight's Spotify podcast. Tonight, we'll be doing Tales from OkCupid. That's relatively self-explanatory, but there's a couple of parts in art, so I'll give you my life lessons with Spotify, a couple of stories, and or not Spotify, my God, with OkCupid. Then we're going to look at a couple of profiles. I'm going to tell you what I think, and then we'll move on to a message to blacks. I know that sounds offensive. I promise you it's not. All right, this is far from offensive. Just a few thought-provoking bites. And then, we are going to round out the episode. What are we going to round it out with? I want to round it out with a couple of stories from my youth. They'll be quick and sweet. And then I'd like to discuss a couple of beefs I have with anime. And then I'm going to give you a nice, sultry story about my favorite ethnicity to have sex with. Since you asked. I mean, not on me. On YouTube, apparently we can nair our rectum holes with our beanbags hanging for women and children and kids to see, because somehow that's still child-friendly and it's still up, people. Very easily accessible. Gross. As long as you're queer, you can do whatever you want. Don't you like that? Oh, you're a homophobe and a transphobe. Well, first off, you flit. I promise you, you do not scare me. I do not run in the opposite direction of a Mo. And, frannies don't scare me either, sorry. I'm not afraid of you. I think you're an asshole. Now, if you're just living your life, I feel pity, is really what I feel. I feel sorry for you. Like, really, I feel horribly for you. If you're not trying to push your shit on anybody and you're just trying to live your life and you've been so brainwashed that you've taken it to this crazy level of nonsense, I feel bad for you. However, if you're trying to push down people's throats, giggity, and you're trying to push it on kids, you can get fucked and die in a gas chamber, because you know what you're doing. Alright, stop looking for validity in children. Because I gotta tell you, and I gotta ask the question. If you're seeking validity in children and explaining to them hypersexualized ideas and experiences, etc., you're either a pedophile or you're 2 steps away from being one. Either way, you shouldn't be allowed in a room with kids. So, I realized the other day that I promised you guys a bagel recipe. It's my personal favorite, and I never delivered. So, in an effort to do that, let's run down that real fast. So, this is for a classic, I'm going to call it a Chestnut Hill bagel. You'll have to look up where Chestnut Hill is, but it's a suburb of Boston. Fuck a New York bagel. Everything about New York City is disgusting. Absolutely awful. I have been all over the world. Literally all over the world. And I hate New York City with a burning passion. I mean, just the only good places about New York City are the places where Italians are. Because, well, that are like Reformed or semi-conservative Jews. Everywhere else is a crap hole shit heap. Anyway, so this is a Boston bagel. A Chestnut Hill recipe, if you will. So, you're going to want to take 1 packet of yeast, the active, and you're going to want to rip that slut open, put 2 tablespoons of sugar, and 1/4 cup of water into a Pyrex glass. You know what? Double that up. All right. do like a tablespoon and a half of sugar, and with 2 packets of the yeast. It yields a better result. I was going to keep closer to the recipe, but I'm realizing if you're trying this for the first time, you're going to need a little wiggle room. So we'll do 2 packets of yeast and a tablespoon and a half of sugar. Pour that into one of those like Pyrex measuring cups and let it sit till the foam is bubbling over. While that's, rising up and everything, you're going to want to take your mixing bowl. You're going to want to add 4 cups of flour, 2 cubes of chicken bouillon, a little less than a 1/4 cup sugar. That's more to taste. You're going to add about 2 teaspoons of salt. And then, I've never actually measured it before, but I would say 7 good solid shakes of black pepper. 1/2 shake of paprika. And that's pretty much about it. From there, you're going to mix that all together. That kind of helps break up the flour too. You're going to want to spread out the sides and form a well. Once that well's formed, you're going to want to pour your yeast concoction in there. Then you're going to add another cup of water on top of it. Just loosely mix that together with a spatula till it's the best way to put it, till it's mixed but not entirely mixed. It'll look kind of crumbly. And what you're going to want to do after that, most people will tell you to pull it out shaggy. That's the word I'm looking for. So you're going to mix the water and all the flour and schmutz together till it's shaggy. Most recipes I've seen want you to dump it out and knead it and all that jazz. No. You get a far better bagel if you throw that onto your mixer, put the paddle attachment on. You're going to have to watch it because it will go over the bowl depending on the size of your mixer. But you're going to want to turn that mixer to 1 with the paddle attachment. And you may have to add a little more water, a little more flour to balance it out. But what you're looking for is a smooth, kind of sticky dough at the end. And you'll understand what I mean by smooth when you see it. It'll look silky. So once you've done that, you're going to want to dump your dough out onto just any floured surface really fast. And then you're going to spray ham or whatever into the bowl you were working with, the mixing bowl. And I prefer butter. Take a little bit of butter on your index and middle finger and just rub it all over the place inside the bowl. Plop your dough back in. And you're going to let it sit for about an hour covered in a warm room or slightly warmed oven, what have you. From there, about an hour in, you're going to pull her up, pop the foil off, and just poke her down a little bit so all that gas escapes. Throw it, put the tin back on, let it sit for like another 45 minutes. From there, sorry about that brief technical difficulty. So, as said, once you're going to dump that dough out after it's risen. Now, while you've been letting the dough rise, say about the last 15 minutes, you're going to fill up a big pot to boil, about 3/4 of the way with water. I would say do 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Let it dissolve. Now, once you get your dough out, roll it into a log, dice it up into even pieces. You should be anywhere between 8 and 12. Roll those into balls, and take your index finger and your thumb, and right in the center, squeeze until you breach the dough. Then you're going to work your index finger just slightly so you get a nice little hole. Rinse and repeat until you're out of dough balls. Then I would do, if it's a standard pot, I would do 2 to 4 at a time. Now, depending on how much heat you're putting out, how long you let the water boil, you're going to want to do 2 to 3 minutes per side in the water. 3 minutes, flip the bagel over, and then after anywhere between 4 to 6 minutes total has passed, you're going to pull them out, put them on a pan, and you finish up your bagels. After that, take an egg, take a smidge of milk, whip that together in a cup, take your pastry brush, soak these bagels. Don't be ashamed. Just really lather those bagels up with the egg wash. And then you're going to want to slap your seasonings on your sesames, your poppies, whatever it is you please. From there, it's pretty simple. Put them in an oven, 350 to 375, until they're golden brown. Alright. Cut them down the center. Make sure they're cooked all the way through. Don't let them cool. Eat them. From there, throw them in a Ziploc bag. And then you're good to go. That's it. You got yourself a tasty bagel. It's a bagel. It's going to make you go, I can't do a very good Herbert, but Herbert from Family Guy, you're going to make those noises. So if that gives you an idea as to how good this bagel is. Well, we did it again. We went past the 5 minutes, but not by much. All right, we're only at 10 minutes and 35 seconds. So with that being said, you beautiful, beautiful, sexy schmear spreaders, I will see you tonight on Spotify. Good night, good luck, and I love you.